Monster Hunter is an insanely popular video game franchise, but despite the fact that it's really popular, and despite the fact it's made by one of my favorite gaming studios of all time, Capcom, I've never played a Monster Hunter game before. And I recently made a video talking about the games I'm playing or planning to play in February, and on that list I included Monster Hunter Wilds. I figured it was about time I see what all the hype is about, and I said I was going to play it on its release date of February 28th, but at that time I had no idea there was an open beta. But I know that now, so I downloaded the beta the other day and I played it for about an afternoon, a good handful of hours, and I just want to talk about my thoughts, my experience with the beta in this video. But I want to make it clear, this is not a review. This isn't even a first impressions review. This is just a video of some dude who's never played a Monster Hunter game before, sharing their thoughts after playing it for, again, a handful of hours. And if you end up liking this video, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, because I still plan on reviewing the full game when it does come out. But I talk about a whole bunch of other games as well. I do day one reviews all the time. I do other video game discussions. I just love sharing my passion of video games, and I hope that you guys join me on this channel. But anyway, let's get into it. Let's talk about Monster Hunter Wilds beta. So first things first, let's address the elephant in the room here. There's no avoiding it. You're gonna be able to tell pretty quickly just by looking at this gameplay that I absolutely suck at this game. It's complicated. This game seems to have a steep learning curve, maybe not for longtime Monster Hunter fans, or hell, even for people who played Rise or World, but I'm not one of those people. I'm just a dude going into this game blind for the first time, and I definitely felt like a fish out of water. And on top of that, as I was trying to learn the fundamentals of gameplay and the core controls, let's just say my brain felt as if it could have been inebriated. And also, I only found out about this beta in its final 2 days, and on the second day when I wanted to go into it with a clearer mind, the PSN services were down and I couldn't do that. But yeah, anyway, first I want to talk about the character creator. It's the first thing you do when you load into the beta, and it's great. It's legit one of the best character creators I've ever seen in a game. There's so many customization options, it's crazy. Hair options, skin options, you can even change the pitch of your character's voice. When you age them up and add wrinkles, they actually look like an old person, not just like a young person with fake wrinkles on their face like a Halloween time witch. It really surprised me at how deep the physical customization options can go. Again, genuinely one of the better character creators I've seen for the head and face specifically, because surprisingly, weirdly, I didn't see any real way to customize the body except for muscle mass, and that was disappointing. It seems like an odd feature to leave out. But let's talk about the gameplay a little bit. I'm not going to go too in-depth. I will in my full review, but not here. I'm sure if you're watching this video, you probably know more about the franchise and the gameplay than I do. But the gameplay, despite the fact that I suck at it, has me pretty hooked already, I'm not gonna lie. The whole concept of hunting down monsters and fighting them in different ways while using different weapons was pretty addictive. I got hooked trying out all the different gadgets, all the different weapon types, all the different combos, and then using the remnants of the monsters that you defeat to upgrade your shit. I can see this game having the potential to be incredibly replayable. I got the basic appeal and why people like the core hook of this franchise pretty instantaneously. It also just felt good, you know what I mean? When my weapon would strike the perfect part of the monster and it would tumble over and open itself up to more attacks, it never failed to make you feel badass. It feels earned. I felt like a microscopic version of how I imagine my character probably felt in the alternate reality where this was actually happening. The sense of triumph is again addicting, even though I never actually capitalized on it, because after the tutorial hunt, I died probably 15, maybe even 20 times to the same beast, the same bastard that wouldn't go down no matter what I did, no matter how many times I tried, no matter how many times I swapped weapons. I could not bring him down. And at the time, I thought I was putting up a hell of a fight too, but looking at it now, I really gotta get good. But that's the good thing. I actually wanna get good. The beta tapped into my brain in such a way that I feel like I now have to prove myself, and I'm gonna go into the full game as brutal and as relentless as humanly possible. I want to hunt monsters that the game doesn't even tell me to. I want to hunt their offspring too, and honestly, all the human characters as well, to hell with them. And I guess that kind of brings me into one of the critiques I have, and that's that so far, all of the characters, in my opinion, are pretty cringy and hard to listen to, especially the little kids in this game, which, by the way, there are like 2 or maybe even 3 introduced in just the tutorial, or at least it seemed like it, and I just don't care. I've consumed so much media between games and books and movies and TV shows that center around some annoying kid that got the shit end of the stick, and the main character feels the need to protect them and take care of them. A lot of crying, a lot of whimpering, a lot of moments where I'm asked to care about some kid and I just don't, but instead I wish I could utilize them as monster bait or something like that. But maybe that's a little harsh. But so far the narrative setup isn't doing anything for me. Not for the world or the characters or really anything, honestly, and that's a bit disappointing. But again, full transparency, I've barely seen much of the story, so it has the utmost potential to turn into something I actually do like, because the world visually is pretty cool, and I want to learn more about these monsters and their place in the world, and the hunters and why they do it, and what's the motivation. Is there a main villain? I don't know, but I want to know. And also, I'm honestly kind of surprised that this game really has a story at all. I don't know why, but I thought this would be a storyless game, all about gameplay and grinding. I really wasn't expecting a narrative, and who knows, maybe the narrative is just the setup, and then once you get past the opening tutorial, opening few hours, the story turns into basically nothing. I don't know, but I'm curious. Another critique I have, well, I don't really want to call it a critique yet, I guess, but something I need to figure out in the next beta is if these controls actually suck or not on console on the PlayStation 5, because let me tell you, I felt like an idiot fumbling around on my controller. I swear the controls kept changing on me. 1 second the circle button did this, then the next second it did something entirely different. Again, my brain wasn't at full mast, but I think I can confidently say that the controls are at least complicated. But much like the difficulty, it's a complication I want to learn, that I want to embrace, something I want to figure out and, again, get good at. But at the end of the day, after my very limited time with this beta, I can't say that I'm already a Monster Hunter fan. I can't say that I'm hyped as hell for the full release, but I can say I'm looking forward to it far more than I was previously. This beta spat all over me and made me question my core gaming skills, but like I said, it's also motivating me to grab the bull by the horns and attempt to roundhouse kick the shit out of it. But yeah, that's my brief thoughts. That's just the thoughts of one dude's opinion playing the beta for one afternoon, having never played a Monster Hunter game before. But I want to know, what are you thinking about Monster Hunter Wilds so far? If you've played the beta, I really want to know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. I'm curious. If you're a longtime Monster Hunter fan, I want to know how this game stacks up to the other games. Is it better than World? Is it better than Rise? Is this a weaker entry? And if you're brand new to the franchise like myself, but you played the beta, I want to know your thoughts as well. Again, look forward to my full review when the game comes out fully, but in the meantime, in the next few days, I'll be reviewing Avowed. I cannot wait for that. It's one of my most anticipated games of the year. So just consider subscribing if you like this video, and yeah, thank you for watching, especially if you watched this far.